And we also have to understand that that is a way that some people make money as well. So, there's always two sides to everything, and it's not about being judgmental or critical, but from our own self-preservation and self-respect to be able to know, well, am I posting this, or have I done everything in my day in order to get photos, or have I gone about my day and enjoyed it and there's been an amazing opportunity to take a photo that I want to share? I think that's the difference. But we're very much in that at the moment where there's a lot of grey area. But I do find that there's a lot more conversation around this at the moment. And, I just assume that nearly every image that I see has been filtered or changed or enhanced in some way. If we can look at what we see on social media with that in mind, it then, for me, I'm not as phased as I used to be. I used to think, oh my goodness, I want to look like that, or wow, look at that, experience or that trip. I think there was a show on Netflix where they showed what the influencers were actually doing or where they actually were, and there was this lady that laid down with like all these flowers in her hair, and she said that she was in Bali, but she wasn't. She was just in her bathroom. And so that's why the education part of that is really important, just so that we can be a little bit critical and say, oh, is that really what I'm seeing? Sure. And then not necessarily judge the person for that, but understand the industry. And then it takes away, I guess, that personal sort of level of attack, which we often see, and creates that toxicity.
Absolutely. And last couple of questions, Jessica. You've sort of touched upon this throughout, and just a quick glance at your journey, I think, will signal that to anyone. But what goes into the making of a mindset that doesn't focus on victim, but rather on enabler? And I love the fact that you were honest enough to say that perhaps it wasn't always like that. Like, there were moments you were mad and felt it was unfair or whatever, where the idea isn't for people to feel sorry for you, but rather that, the difference kind of galvanizes you into doing something more significant as you, and lots of rather things. Talk about that sort of switch.
For me, growing up, I had a lot of humbling experiences from my own family and my brothers. There was no way they were ever going to put me on a pedestal just because I had a disability, and I'm grateful for that. So there was no special treatment. My parents were like, we don't feel sorry for you. If you can't tie your shoelaces, we're going to show you how we do it, and then you're going to have to find your own way of doing it.
Right.
So there was a tough love approach, which sometimes worked, and I'm very grateful for that, but it certainly helps me with my mindset, because there were obviously very dark days and times where I was very depressed and very sad, especially throughout my adolescence, and the eating disorders and things like that, and really just not feeling as though I would ever be good enough for anyone, anywhere, ever. How do I get through that? I think it's a mindset that I believe I was born with, and I think that some people are. It's an innate ability to be able to say, no, I'm going to push back against these boundaries, and I'm going to push against the status quo. So I feel that was always there, but at times I haven't been able to give myself that voice. I've felt it, but I haven't been able to say, hey, this is exactly how I feel, and this is what I think, and this is what I'm going to do. So there's been different time points where I've allowed myself to feel a little bit more vulnerable, but then there's been other times where I'm like, no, I have to give myself a voice here. I have to stand up for myself. And I've realized that for some people that can be very confronting, but I can't control what other people think about me or what they think about a situation. I can only control